So, to get started with Microsoft Forms, all you're going to do is go to www.office.com. And it's going to take you to this page. Click on Sign In. And it's going to ask for your email. And just put in your staff email account. And and enter your password. Perfect. So this is your little hub for the Microsoft products that the university's gotten. So on the left, we got, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, OneDrive, all these things that you're used to seeing. And what we're looking for is second from the bottom, this little Forms button. So you're going to click on that, and that's going to bring you to your home page for creating forms. Okay, so starting off on this page here, the little Microsoft Forms page, we're going to go up to this little drop down button, click on it, and then click on New Form. And that's going to open up our little form editor. And from this point on, it's just copying and pasting the information on your typical PDF form onto here in a way that makes it display easily for everyone to be able to answer. So we can just begin. So this is the title of the form. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'll just copy all of this. Go here, and you can just click off of the box, and there you go. There's the title. And there's also a little description box here as well. So I'll just go ahead and copy all of this like that, put it in here, and then I'll clean this up a little bit, just make it look a little bit more professional. So I'll just erase any of those little boxes. And I'll make this bold. Nope, just kidding, we can't do bold. Okay, so we're done with that. So now when they come in, you can click on the preview button up here. And this is what it's going to look like, this first little bit. So we have the title and the description there. We have a little screen reader button, which is really nice, and our declaration at the bottom. So we're going to press back in the top left corner. And now we can start adding our questions. So we're going to click on New. It gives you this little recommended box. I'm just going to close this. So these are all the different options we have for how we'd like to collect the data from the people responding. So looking at the form, we can see it's just simple kind of checkbox. Please indicate your one choice in the appropriate box below. So we can just go ahead and do like a multiple choice kind of question. And we can copy this whole thing into here, and then all of our options, we have 6 here, we're just going to copy and paste into these option boxes. So we'll add 4 more, 4, 5, 6, and now we're going to go over and copy and paste. Do that for all of them. There we go. We can go ahead and make this required. I suggest making everything on here required. Every question you have. That way, students, they're not able to submit a half-filled out form. So if they have a question about it, they can email you. But once they actually submit it, you don't have to worry about anything being half-filled out or them forgetting to put their student number or like a course CRN or anything. Okay, so that's done. And now we have a few more boxes left on here. So we have name, student number, signature, and date. So I'm only going to put down the name and student number because the signature is not really relevant because they need to log in with their UManitoba email anyways. So they're already proving their identity without having to sign. It's like it's the new way to sign something. And the date we don't need because this is time-stamped when they submit it. So we can just go ahead and ignore those. So let's do name and student number. So we're going to click on Add New and Text. And we'll say Name, Required. And we're going to click on Add New again, Text, and Student Number. Perfect. So this is what it looks like now. If we click on preview, and I'll full screen this. So here's our title, our description, and then the choices, and then their name and student number. So looking at this now, I think I'd prefer if I got the name and the student number at the top, for two reasons. One, I don't know, it just seems like those questions should be first. And secondly, when we export this into a spreadsheet, I think I'd prefer to have the names and student numbers as like the first column there, or one of the earlier columns of data, rather than at the end, just because it makes it kind of easier to sort, in my opinion. So to do that, we're going to click on back, and we're going to scroll down. We're going to find the box that we want to move up, and then on the right hand side there'll be these little two arrows, move question up, move question down. So I'm going to click on move question up, and now you can see it's name, choice, and student number. I'm going to move student number up too, so we're going to click on it, click on the up button, click off, and there you go. So that's all done. So now if we click on preview again, there's our title, name, student number, and choice. So there we go. So now that we have our form done, let's share it. We're going to do like a little test share here, so we can see what it looks like when a student enters information from their perspective and also from our perspective, kind of like the summary page of what it looks like. So if you click on the little share button here, send and collect responses, the default is only people in my organization can respond, which is great. We only want Manitoba students to be able to answer this. We don't want anyone with the link to this to be able to clog it up with anything, with garbage. So this is good. Keep it as that. We can click on, I'll do shorten URL just so we get a nice small URL here. We can click copy, and then we'll just go into a separate web browser and paste that URL in. And this is what it looks like from the student perspective. So because I'm already logged into my U of M account on this browser on Chrome, you didn't see it, but for anyone else getting this link, they'll get the link and they'll just get a prompt immediately to log in. So then they'll come down here, so their name, I'll just do mine, student number, and I would like to declare the aerospace stream, please. And then I'm going to click submit. And thanks, your response was submitted. So that's all it is from the student's perspective. Really simple. No need to, download the PDF and then fill it in and then save it and then email it back. Most students don't have computers on them all the time. Everyone has their phone on them all the time. So they can just, as soon as they get the email saying, hey, this is where you go to submit your declaration, they can just log in right on their phone and do it. So it's really convenient like that. So if we close that tab and we go back to our little administrator view, we can see under responses, we have one new response. So let's take a look at that. So if we scroll down, we can see, we have one response here. For name, we have Mike DiNardo, student number, that's my student number. And then it gives us a nice little bar graph of all of the different declarations. So this could come in real handy, if you're doing reporting numbers, rather than having to go through in Excel and sort them and then count them or highlight them and have it count them for you. It takes care of all of that right here and keeps it in one nice little spot. So there's that. So this is kind of like this is the in-browser summary, but alternatively, you can also just keep your own record by clicking open in Excel. It'll download the file in a spreadsheet. So then if we open that up, this is what it looks like. A really simple little spreadsheet. So ID, this is just the number in line of who completed it. So this is our first response, so the ID is 1. We have a start time, what time they arrived at the page. We have a completion time, what time they finished. We have their email here. This is the email that they logged into the website with. So, if you were to put back on this form, if we, in questions, if we were to add another box here that said email address, then we would have 2 columns with email. So it's kind of redundant. I don't recommend putting it in there twice, but it's your form. You decide how you want to set it up. We have this name is the name associated with this account. So this is automatically generated. So technically we don't even have to have their name in there. I add it more so just because if it wasn't there, I think students would maybe email and say, "How do you know that this was me? You know, how do you know that this is mine?" I'm just following up to make sure it was received. There wasn't a name box on it. So just to kind of proactively reduce some emails back and forth, I've just added it there. We have their student number and then the stream that they indicated. So really simple spreadsheet. They even add a nice little kind of color here for us, which I love. And yeah, it takes away a lot of the sort of the tedious, file organization and spreadsheets and data entry. It takes care of all this for you. It just creates it, and then every time there's a new response, here you can just download it again, and it'll give you an updated spreadsheet. So yeah, there's that. One last thing I wanted to go over. There's a theme box. You can, if you're feeling creative, you can add some color to it. A little snowboarding guy, or a little printer in an office, maybe some spaceships. I really like this burgundy or this pomegranate color. I'm gonna go with that. And then if you click on these three little dots here, it gives you all these buttons. Really, the only thing that's important is the settings button here. So this is where you can kind of customize it. So who can fill out the form? I recommend only people in my organization can respond. For this form, students are only going to be filling it out once, so if you want, you can make it one response per person. I'm just going to leave it, blank for right now, or leave it for multiple responses. You can set a start date and end date. You can shuffle the questions, not really relevant for what we're doing here. You can make a little customizable thank you message, thank you for declaring your option/stream. Have a nice day. And then we also have response receipts. So I would suggest clicking both of these. So allow recipient of responses, or allow receipt of responses after submission. So giving the student a copy of what they submitted. I think that's good. That way they have, maybe proof isn't the right word, but they have something for their records saying, that they did fill out this and declared it the way that they did. So I think that's good. And then get email notification of each response. So every time someone fills out one of these forms, it'll shoot you a little email to your inbox saying, "Hey, you have a new response. Go check that out," which I do want. So we're gonna click on that. And yeah, that's basically it. It's really simple. Like the form that we were working on this is a very simple form to begin with. But you can make this as complicated as possible. This is just kind of the beginning tutorial. I'm going to do another video on some of the more advanced stuff you can do with this. So yeah, I hope that this has helped out. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email.